Om Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir bhavatu me sada yena akshara samamnayam adhigamya maheshwarat kritsnam vyakaranam proktam tasmai paninaye namaha vakyakaram vararuchim bhashyakaram patanjalim Paninim Sutrakarancha Pranatosmi Munitrayam Vagartha Viva Samprikto Vagartha Pratipattaye Jagatah Pitaro Vande Parvati Parameshwaro Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Welcome. So, just as a recap of where we are, our GPS, right? You can repeat after me. Sanadyanta Dhatu Vrittihi.
Sanadyata dhatu vrittihi.
Krit Vrittihi. Taddita Vrittihi. Samasa Vrittihi. Ekashesha Vrittihi. And so far we've seen Sanadi Pratyayaha, right? Sanadyanta Dhatu Vritti, and then we've started to sing Kṛdanta. So within Sanadi, we saw sun, and we also saw Nich, right? After that, we started seeing Kṛdanta, beginning with Krityaha in Karmani, Bhave, and then Kartri Krit Pratyas, Trich, Vul, Quip. And then we started seeing Nishtha, Ta, and Tavatu. Now we're seeing Śatṛ and Śānach. Śatṛ and Śānach. So this is where we are locating ourselves, and we'll go deeper into Śatṛ and Śānach. Okay. Harprasad ji, is there a question about this, or you can unmute yourself?
Yeah, Mahodaya, the question is on Śatṛ and Śānach.
Okay.
Can I go ahead?
I'm just going to do a quick review of what we've saw so far, and then I'll ask you to. Okay. So Śatṛ and Śānach, we started seeing Śatṛ. It was a little bit ago, so we're just quick review of this. Śatṛ and Śānach. Okay. So first we have to smile. I'm talking at a fast pace, going fast. I got to smile. I got to slow down a little bit. Śatṛ, Śānach are both substitutes for lat lakara, present tense, and lit lakara, future tense. Okay. They're substitutions for lat lakara and lit lakara. Śatṛ is classified as parasmai padam. Śānach is classified as atmane padam. Śatṛ, Śānach are used as substitutions for lakara. So these two lakaras, namely, just like ting pratyas. So when we have a dhatu, we always add a lakara first. That lakara is then replaced by a ting pratyaya, or it can be replaced, for example, with Śatṛ, Śānach. Right? So ting pratyas make verbs, Śatṛ, Śānach make Kṛdanta pratipadikam. They make this nominal base, pratipadika. Shatrushanach ending words are used to qualify a noun by the present or future action. So, saha pachantam devadattam pashyati. Saha pashyati, he sees, devadattam pachantam. Pachantam is qualifying devadattam. So, devadatta, who is cooking, pachdatu. Saha vakshamanam, this is with Shanach, vakyam manyate. So, saha manyate, he thinks, vakyam, about the sentence, vakshamanam. Now, this is Shanach replacing lit to lakara, so future tense, which is going to be told. Okay. So here's a little bit of a different chart. Lat kartari. So here we have tingantam, here we have Shatrushanach ending. So if I parasmaipada, for example, we know pashyati. But I can also, because it's parasmaipada, I can add shatru and I can make pashyan. But if it's atmanepadi, like lab dhatu, if I was making a verb, I would say labate, but I would add shanach because it's atmanepadi, so labamanaha, which we're going to see how that's formed. We haven't seen that quite yet. Okay. Parasmaipadi. Now this is karmani. Now karmani always takes this atmanepada, no matter what. No matter, you see, drish dhatu is parasmaipada, but it will still take atmanepada. So drishyate or drishyamanaha. Shanach is replaced for atmanepada. Okay. Labate labhyamanaha. Similarly, with literal kara, we have future tense. So we're gonna, if we can review this quickly. Vakshati, parasmaipada, vakshan, atmanepada, lapsyate or lapsyamana. Okay. So let's see. So Harpasaji, is now a good time for your question, or when we go deeper? Okay, please go ahead.
Mahodaya, I understand the Shatrung replaces the lakara.
Yes.
Now, for example, pashyati becomes pashyata, and that can be declined.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so is it applicable only to 3-1, not 3-2 and 3-3?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear your question. So let me show you this first. So for example, if we look at this example here, you see this drish plus lat lakara. I would replace the lakara, I can add a ting, right? So I can add ti and I can make drish plus ti becomes pashyati. We know that happens. That's not news for us. Or what can happen is shatru can place lat. So now it's not that shatru replaces ti or tip plus ji. It does not replace tip plus ji. So it's not that it's coming in place of this. What I mean by that is shatru just replaces any lat. It's a whole separate process.
So any lat, but what is lat? Lat is titaha anti.
So lat is actually not the taha anti. Lat is just it's called lakara. It's just its own entity. It's a lakara, and lakara has these two things. If I have it here still, let me show you.
Prayoga and tense.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Lakara has prayoga and tense. But so it's its own entity carrying those qualities. And that lakara gets replaced by titaha anti. Or that lakara can be replaced by shatrushanach. So it's not that it's shatrushanach is replacing the thing. it's replacing the lakar.
Oh, I see. Okay. So, okay, I understand.
Okay.
Dhanyavadaha, Mahodaya.
And Urmilaji, go ahead.
Do you still need to have a latlakara, tinganta pada in the sentence? You know, like we have it in this example.
Mhm.
Supposing you did not have, in other words, if you use Shatru or Shanak, do you still need a Tingantam Padam in that sentence?
Yeah, you still technically, every sentence needs a Tingantam. You still need a Tingantam for the sentence to be complete, even if you have Shatru Shanach. It gives this action type word, or it gives this action sense to it, but you still need a verb to make the sentence complete.
So what is it actually adding? It's making sentence, trying to.
Yeah, I can show you that when we look at some,
Okay.
more examples. Yeah. So if we look at Shatru, and we'll come to that in a little bit, okay? So you have to. So Shatru, as we've seen, denotes karta. So it's kartari, denotes the karta of the present, right? If it's replacing lat lakara, it's present, or future action, it's replacing lit lakara. Of only parasmaipadi dhatu. Okay, this much we're okay with? Content of Shatru is just at. Meaning that shakara is it letter, and this ring is also it letter. Because this r is it letter, it declines like Bhagavat. It's ugit. We saw that last time. If that doesn't make sense, that's okay. Well, don't worry about that. So far, so its content is at. The substitutions will look like what we've seen in lat lakara. Okay, so nothing too new. Or if it's replacing lit, it will look like what we've seen, the anga will transform in the same way we've seen with regular lit. Which maybe we can review also. Vigraha Vakya is not seen. Okay, so some examples of this. Let me show you a sentence. We'll come back to all this material, but I just want to show you a sentence. Okay, let's look at number 3. Okay, let's look at number 3. Devadattaha pashyati. Devadatta sees. What does he see? Kam pashyati? Somadattam pashyati. He sees, so this is Devibhakti, Karmani Ditya to pashyati. 2-1. Now, he sees Somadattam, who is Pachantam. Okay, so Pachantam, I have Pach Dhatu plus At. Oops. So it becomes Pachat. Pachat. And if I were to decline Pachat, it's just like sun. It's 2-1 is Pachantam. Okay. Now you see how the sentence still needs this verb. Devadatta sees Somadatta. What is Somadatta doing though? Somadatta is the one who is cooking. So this is a kartari pratipadika, meaning it's talking about the karta, but not this karta. It's talking about this karta, which is tricky, okay, which is a little tricky. Somadatta is cooking. So Somadatta is so how we translate Pachantam is the one who is cooking. Devadatta sees Somadatta who is cooking. What is he cooking? Odanam. Odanam means rice, 2-1. Odana Shabda. Now, this is all sorts of a tricky sentence because there's 2 1s, but they're referring to different actions. Devadatta sees Somadatta. Somadatta is the one who's cooking. What is he cooking? Odanam. This sentence can go many other ways, right? We can say Devadatta sees the rice, which is cooking Somadatta. That can happen too, right? We don't necessarily know, but based on context, so you would know based on context, the intention of the speaker. This is how we would know this. So that's one example. Okay, so it is a pratipadika. Yeah, these are samanadhikaranam. These two words are samanadhikaranam. Odanam and pachantam are not samanadhikaranam. They're not referring to the same thing. These two are referring to the same object. These two are not referring to the same object. Rice is not cooking. Unless, again, unless rice is cooking Somadatta, which with, our high blood sugar, that can happen too. Okay. So is this a little bit how this is used in a sentence? A little bit more clear. Okay, let's see more examples. Not of these. Let's just look at particular words first. Sorry, you need a little bit of whiplash here to go back. Okay, yeah. So how this is made, right? Just what we've seen. Drish plus lat. This lat is replaced by shatru. Shatru is made up of sha and r are it letters, and hence they're removed. So you're left with at. Drish plus at. This anga undergoes the same changes as what we've seen in Tingantam. So drish becomes pashya, like just what we've seen. Pashya plus at. One eats the other a. Okay? You choose which one eats which. But pashyat, it doesn't become pashyat. It's pashyat together. So this is the final form, pashyat. Now this is a Kṛdanta. It's qualified to be a pratipadika. Okay? Do I have the chart? Pashyat declines like sat. Let's go through the chart. Pashyan is 1-1. So notice that difference, okay? Like sat becomes sun. Sun, sat is also shatru word. One who is existing. So pashyan, pashyanto, pashyantaha, pashyantam, pashyanto, pashyataha. Nakara goes away. Pashyataha. So in that other sentence we saw pachantam. That was 2-1, right? Now we're doing pashya. Okay. Pashyata, pashyad bhyam. The takara becomes dakara. Pashyad bhyam, pashyad bihi, pashyate, pashyadbhyam, pashyadbhyah. So I'm going to go slower. You try to beat me to it. Pashyataha, pashyadbhyam, pashyadbhyah, pashyataha, pashyatoho, 6-3, pashyatam, pashyati, pashyatoho, pashyatsu, he pashyan, nakara, he pashyanto, he pashyantaha. Okay, now let's go back. This is not the best example to give of lit lakara, but we'll do it anyways. Okay, so now we can also see this derivation of vakshat. Okay, vach dhatu is to speak. If vakshat is the agent, the karta, the one who will speak, right? So we'll see that, right? Because I can either have lat lakara or lit lakara, future tense. Now, shatru or shanach can be substitute for lit. Shatru is parasmaipada and vach is parasmaipada, padi dhatu. So shatru is suffixed. Okay, not shanach. We can't add shanach unless it's karmani, but it's not, right? Sha and r are elided. So it's vachat. In lit lakara, additional suffix sya is added to the dhatu. So you get a sya in the middle. Now, why I said this is not the best example to give first is because there's some sandhi with this one. Chakara becomes kakara and sakara becomes shakara. So there's something called kutwam and shatwam sandhis. We've seen a long time ago. But so kasha becomes vaksha. So vakshat. Okay. Finally get with vakshat. So vakshan is how 1-1 would be. So if I were to just quickly look at if I was quickly look at lit lakara, right? This is lit lakara. The sya is an additional suffix to the dhatu is attached to the ting pratyas. So you see, instead of ti taha anti, it's syati, syataha, syanti. So ti taha anti is just like what we've seen in lat. Si tahata, mi vaha, or mi avaham amaha. We've seen that. Now we just add a sya to it. So syati, syataha, syanti, syasi, syataha, syatha, syami, syavaha, syama. Then we get syate, syete, syante. In Atmanipada, syase, syete, syadve, sye, syavahe, syamahe. Okay. Sometimes what happens in lit lakara is e is added before the additional suffix sya. How we know that is there's some dhatus which are marked with an S in the dhatu kosha. It's called a set. Set. S-E-T, set. Means sa, it. I mean, with the E. It comes along with E. So some are just classified like that, meaning that we see in the language that it comes along with the ikara in many places. This is one of those places where we get an E is added before the additional suffix sya. So in this case, if I had E plus Sya, again, Sandhi rule happens, Sa becomes Shya, and then we finally get Ishya. Guna can take place. So let's look at this example. I'm moving through a lot of different things, but it's all related to this. So I hope this is helpful to get a review. Okay. So this is lit lakar, future tense, because it replaces Śatṛ Śānach replaces. So here, Bu becomes Bhava, right? But here, you get an Ikara replaces the A. So you get E, and then it becomes Sha, so it becomes Ishya, Ishyati. So Bhavishyati, you can say it with me. Bhavishyataha, Bhavishyanti, Bhavishyasi, Bhavishyataha, Bhavishyatha, Bhavishyami, Bhavishyavaha, Bhavishyamaha. But with Śatṛ Śānach, you'll get all this beginning, but you won't get the end of Titaha Anti. Instead, you'll get Śatṛ Śānach. If that makes sense. But we have to remember that E sometimes comes and you have Sya for Littakar. Here's some other examples of Littalakara with Ting Pratyaya. So these are Tingantams. Okay. When you have Ubayapadi, you get two forms, right? Like Karishyati or Karishyate. Okay, please pause me if I'm moving in too many directions, okay? But I'm just coming back here to show that. Here we get the Sya, additional Sya, when we're adding, when we're replacing Lit Lakara. Okay.
So, Mahodaya, what happens if there is a Ikara also?
Yeah, let's see if we can find an example here. This is mixed with Śatṛ and Śānach, so let's just see. So here, for example, we have Gamishyat. So Gam Dhatu, usually we add Sya, right? So become Gamshat or something like that, Gamashat. But you add this Ikara. So E, and then when you add the E, the Sa becomes Sha, so it becomes Gamishyat. Let me make it a little bit bigger so you can see it. That's right. So this is the example of when you have an Ikara and you're replacing Lit Lakara. Gamishyat. So if we were to decline that, Gamishyan, Gamishanto, Gamishantaha, Gamishantam, Gamishanto, Gamishataha. Okay, so we'll stop there, but the translation of this is one who will go, right? It's the karta, the doer, who will go. The agent who will go. Okay. We only have a few minutes. I was going to start introducing Śānach, but let's just look at a few more examples here. So you have to ignore the Śānach examples because we haven't looked at that yet. But As plus Śatṛ, here there's a little bit of a different form where As becomes Sat. becomes san, santo, santaha. We see this a lot in Vedanta. One who is existing, or it can just be existing by itself. It can be being or existing. Vid, for A to B. Oh, we're not going to look at Shanach yet. So let's look at another. Let's look at Gam plus Shatru. So Gam plus Shatru. Again, we're adding Gam plus At, but then Gam becomes Gacha. A plus A, one eats the other, so Gachat. Gachan, Ganchanto, Gachataha, Gachantaha. Gam, again, plus Shatru, but in replacing Lit Lakara this time, Gamishyat. Kru plus Shatru in Lat Lakara, replacing Lat Lakara. We'll get Kru. This you get a little bit of a change. You get Kurvat. So there's some special cases here where there's more than meets the eye. Kru is always a little bit more difficult. Kru plus Shatru in future tense. You know how we see Krishyati, but here you want to add the ti, it's just at, right? So Krishya plus at, Krishyat. Drish, to see. Oh, so if we look at the translations, right? Kurvat is one who is doing, agent who is doing, the karta who is doing, or if it's replacing litakara, agent who will do. Drish plus Shatru, lat, we saw. Pashya plus at, pashyat, agent who is seeing, the doer of seeing. In present tense, if we were to do this in future tense, right? Then it would be the one who will see, right? Then we have these examples here of shru, shpashatru. It becomes shrinvat. Now this is because of when you decline shru, you get this extra nakara that comes in addition. So some of these have specific rules for them, which as we practice our declensions, they come in Tingantam as well. There's rules for that, which we don't have time to go into. But here's an example of we get an extra nakara. So shrinvat in Laktaka. So here are some of those examples. And next time we're going to see Shanach. If we have one more minute, which we don't have, I'll just leave up. Let me see if I have any other. Yeah, we'll stop here. But I will just leave up some of these sentences just for you to look at for a moment. We'll end here. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Harihi Om.